So I've been thinking about this, and I think it's time. Hello guys, my name is FannyZQ, and yeah, this is me. So for the people who already follows me on Twitch and watch me mainly on Twitch and then sees this, they will be like, you already did your face reveal, like what's going on? And the thing is that I'm starting to record and I'm starting to get some bolts in, with my face on them. And so I don't know, I felt like just publishing them on YouTube was going to feel weird. And also YouTube, even though I haven't been able to pay attention to it as much as I want, I really care about my channel. So I wanted to do like an official face reveal. And you know what? I thought about it. I thought it for so long. Like, how should I do it? Should I do it more dramatic? Can I do it without looking like Dream, like the classic mask? Because I can't do that on stream, not gonna lie. Like, I use a Ninari, well, not Ninari, but a Kitsune mask. And then I reveal myself. But that was because in that time, I was so freaking afraid of pushing the button that will show my face that I was like, I need a second layer to hide it, because I don't know, it kind of made me feel more safe, but at the same time I knew that I had to do it, which is another reason why I decided to do it on Twitch. Like the first face reveal, I decided to do it on Twitch instead of YouTube, and this is why. As you can see, here is a camera and I am recording this. So YouTube allows me to do a lot of BTS. Like, I could just record over and over again until I make it perfect, or until I feel like I'm ready to take the step. But what does this do? Okay, yeah, sure, maybe it would have given me more time to think about it and make something super epic operation or something, but also it allows me to just say, no, not yet, maybe later, maybe it's not perfect, or maybe it's not the best time. So I could give more easily excuses to me to not do this if I had a recording. But in Twitch, that is live. So if my brain was like, today I'm doing this, today I'm showing who I am, I could just do that. And it's not like I'm not going to. Like, maybe if I started to do the stream, but then I never gone to the part of the video, I honestly, knowing myself, I think it would have been more difficult to not do it on live, because I would have my own pressure of do it, you have to do it. So maybe right now, maybe many of you are confused of, wait, nobody is actually pressuring you into putting your face on it. Well, maybe more than family and close friends, but the thing is that it's not about them. It's not about the pressure of other people. It was pressure on me. So you guys may know, or may not know, I don't know. You guys may know that I like using my channel as a way of practice. So without entering into too much context, because it's a long story, I don't wanna drift away from what I'm trying to say. But let's just say that unfortunately I could never build a career. It's a long story why I couldn't. And every time I tried, there was something bigger than me that will prevent me from finishing or accomplishing what I wanted to do. One of those things was the pandemic. I cannot control that. So the thing is that I got so pissed that I was so dependent on so many things, like dependent on a school, dependent on an institution, dependent on money, dependent on almost everything, that honestly I was going freaking nuts. And especially on 2020, where I couldn't even go out there and get a job of whatever, not even waitress or anything like that, receptionist, no, nothing. Why? Because at least at the beginning of the pandemic, nobody could work there, remember? Then we started to apply some regulations and stuff like that, just, to not get the situation even worse. But I think everybody knows this. The amount of jobs outside decreased like crazy. Many places shut down. Other companies, like the ones that works on desk especially, could do some home office, but the area where I was working was not an online thing. And I mentioned this on my Instagram. I used to give like a therapeutic like massage, and I was still in the part of relaxing massage, but then I wanted to jump into the physiotherapy, and I couldn't do it because I couldn't study anything else, because it's something that it has to be taught on person. So I remember my teacher, I even asked him like, hey, can I study like something like anatomy, or should we start with something like theoretical and all that? And he was so worried about the pandemic and about taking care of his family that he couldn't even like pay attention to that. Honestly, it wasn't a priority, and I completely understand it. Like, I'm not going to blame like my teacher, and I'm not going to blame anybody for what happened. I cannot blame anybody for what happened, and I cannot be mad for them taking their family and their safety as a priority. Like, why would I do that? But I admit I was pissed at my luck. I was pissed at myself. I was so pissed with everything and feeling so freaking small. So then I had that freaking idea of, you know what, let's do something that I have to control, like I can control. And boy oh boy, it hasn't gone well, but it gave me something really good that I'm really proud of. So, you know, as a newbie YouTuber or as a newbie anything, you gotta do everything by yourself. Absolutely everything. Recording, checking the audio, checking the microphone, the equipment. If I talk very slow, if I talk too fast, if I do this, if I do that, how much my own thing is gonna help me and how much of my own thing is gonna freak me. So I had to learn how to edit, and I remember I started with a cracked version of Filmora 9, because at the beginning, it was pandemic. I didn't have any money. I had a little bit from when I was working on massages, but it wasn't near enough to buy the software, the things that you need for, you know, edition. And so a friend gave me a cracked version of Filmora 9, and I was like, okay, if I liked it, then I'm gonna buy it, because you cannot get support from things that are cracked. You need to, you know, give your email address and show that, yep, I have the thing, can you help me? But then again, I didn't have that much money, so it's not like I could grab like, oh, I'm gonna buy DaVinci, and I didn't know in that time that it was free. I'm gonna buy DaVinci, and I'm gonna buy Adobe Premiere and Sony Vegas and Filmora Pro and all that. It's not like I could buy and then just get finish the membership or something like that, especially with Adobe. But I gave it a try, and I discovered that it was so freaking fun. Like, my mind is always has been like thinking ideas and imagining stuff and imagining movies and all that. I'm not saying that I'm a movie maker, I'm gonna become one, but the thing is that I had the creativity there, but I never knew how to let it out, you know, because even though I love art, even though I love almost anything that I can touch, like for example like crocheting, like painting and drawing and all that, because I was so school focused, I could never develop that side of creativity from me. And even though at the beginning of the YouTube channel, I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't know how to edit properly, but I was having fun. And since then I started to use my channel not only as a way of, I want to make something from myself, to myself, for myself, I don't know how to say it, but also it allows me to create, you know. And same as somebody who doesn't know how to draw, you start by doing something really simple, even sometimes like copying somebody or something. But then when you start to get a hang of it, you start doing more stuff. You don't do those tiny, you know, drawings in a huge paper. You start to using the whole paper. And curiously, years after the pandemic, where I was like looking for a job and all that, fortunately I could find one where I could work as a photo and video editor. So there was this program in Mexico which is called Jóvenes Construyendo el Futuro, in which technically they allow people or companies to get people who doesn't have anything like a PhD, but they want to learn how to work in this type of area, etc. And basically it's like how to say, a scholarship, I can't remember, but the government was going to pay those people the students, the student workers. And so technically the companies or the business will have like free workers, but at the same time, they had to teach very well these workers how everything works, how to do stuff. So I wanted to be in the video area, and I got to be in that place. I'm not gonna mention which one, just for privacy stuff. But they taught me some stuff about photography. They taught me about photo editing, because that was the main thing. And then they started to give me videos to work at. Almost all the time I made reels. And it was interesting because at the beginning I was very afraid. I was so insecure that maybe I wasn't made for this, or maybe I'm just ignorant and I don't know much to, make like a good product. But it seems that all the efforts that I place or put on my videos actually paid off. But also, I hit a wall. So when I was editing a wedding, I remember very well that wedding. I was using already a paid version. Don't worry, I paid for that. A paid version of Filmora 10. I think it was 10 or 11, one of those two. And I remember that I felt chained, that I couldn't do as much as I wanted to. And it was incredibly frustrating. I remember I couldn't control the colors well. I remember I couldn't control the effects that I was using, and I started to feel trapped, and I really hit a wall where I was like, well, I don't know what I can do. And in that studio, what helped me to grow was the availability, I don't know how to say it, or the chance to have footage to work on, because it was me who started to study even more, to get even further in my editions. And I got to a point when I felt like Filmora was way too small for me, because I realized that the color correction wasn't that good enough. And then I figured out that the audio correction or audio management wasn't that good, honestly. And then I realized that, okay, yeah, sure, I felt amazing for using all the transitions, the pre-made transitions and the pre-made effects and the pre-made everything. But then I realized, because it's pre-made, one, technically I'm not doing anything. Second, I cannot control that. Like, maybe I can have like tiny controls where I'm allowed to, slide the dot, and say, okay, so I want this amount of flashes, or I want this amount of this effect, but it's not as precise. So I started to study Adobe Premiere, and yes, I have a cracked version of that. Sorry, I really don't have money right now. And lately I've been practicing DaVinci Resolve, which then I realized it was for free. Like, there's a version that you can buy, but it's for free. Imagine when I discovered. But the thing is that I started to realize that, okay, so what made me grow was the experience. No duh, right? Like, people always think that the school is going to give you all the answers. The school is not going to give you all the answers. Courses are not going to give you all the answers. Maybe they can give you like an introduction, but problems, footage, time, schedules, those are the real thing. And curiously, in Premiere, I've been having so much trouble, but also a lot of freedom. And I've been noticing that all my animations and all that, I've been getting better, and they're getting smoother. And then after that, I started to think more, instead of just one thing, to many other things of a huge canvas. And I was like, okay, so I'm doing this. And then I started to practice and practice and practice and practice and practice until I realized I hit another wall. And in this wall, I realized that I can only do so much. I can only do so much on, just a footage. And if you have noticed, many well-made videos, it could be YouTube videos, it could be any other kind of videos. There's never just one footage. There's many. It could be, for example, for something more real, like a wedding or like a party, or maybe like a conference or anything like that. There's gonna be many cameras and many things, and it's like, okay. And in YouTube videos, usually they have a face. So I got the critique before that it was really difficult to watch my videos because there was nobody you could connect to. And I was like, yeah, but I love the faceless thing. It kind of gives like a mystery, and it kind of gives you more like a different kind of connection. Maybe not a visual one, but at least like you hear me talking. And I kind of wanted to replicate the feeling of when you're playing video games with a buddy. When you're playing with a friend, you're not looking at him, you're looking at the game. So I was kind of trying to replicate that, but even I decided to stop that and put the camera, because this will give me so much trouble, but also so much experience. And I think it will allow me to do even more, you know, because now I have to work on this, and then I'm gonna have to work on that. So yeah, it's gonna give me a lot of trouble, and that's gonna be a lot I have to study, but at the same time, this is what is making me grow. And if for now I cannot get a job because of my health issues, especially motricity, I have a problem with my knee. I'm not going to tell much about it, but the thing is that it's been getting really difficult to get a job. And AI, what should I tell you? AI. It's really sad that I've heard some people be like, not kidding you, I heard the receptionist like call somebody, and she was like, hey, so do you think you can make a video? You can do like an AI video, and I want this to happen, and then this logo appears and all that. Yeah, no, you don't have to hire anybody. Just tell the thing to do the video. And it's like, God dang. Everybody got fired because now AI can do everything. And right now everybody is embracing AI because it's super easy and you don't have to hire anybody. So honestly, it's getting really difficult, but I know that manpower can surpass at some point the AI, so there's still a chance for me. Like, I'm not going to act like a fucking victim here, but I need experience. And if I cannot get in a job, I'm gonna give myself my own experience. If I could get to the point I got in my first job by just doing YouTube, imagine how much more I can grow by doing this. And so that's why I decided to start to use the camera. I started to crave more of the knowledge and the things that maybe I can do now with a second footage of a camera. And it's not a thing of views or anything like that. I just really want to give experience to myself. And you know, that's basically it. That's basically the real reason. And maybe some of you maybe wonder like, oh, why I didn't become a PNG tuber or a VTuber or something like that. Honestly, the idea of being a VTuber got so pushed to me. Like, be a VTuber, come on, be a VTuber. You should be a VTuber. You wanna stay faceless, but you wanna be a VTuber. And so it's like when you're like recommending you something and they just keep pushing and pushing and pushing, suddenly you start hating the recommendation, you know? I have nothing against the VTubers, let me clarify that, because my god, how people love to take everything out of context. No, I don't have anything against them, but it was so annoying. The people who were just pushing me, like even trying to force me to be a VTuber, that I completely hated it. I was like, no, I want to become one. Like, if maybe they suggested that like 1 or 2 times, maybe I would have considered that, but they tried to force that so many times. And it was so freaking annoying. So I decided like, no, I don't want to become that. And PNG tuber, yeah, sure, okay, but I think it's not gonna give me the same experience as a camera. Let's be honest, there's gonna be a lot of things like color correction, LUTs, and me moving a lot because I move too much, and I'm gonna cause me a lot of trouble, and let's see how I can solve that trouble. So yeah, that's basically the reason. And another reason why I wanted to make this video is because so I still have some footage from before. It's the footage that I recorded while I was working and I couldn't work on that thing. Puppy Playtime 3, for example. I'm so close to finish it. It's taking space in my storage. But the thing is that, so maybe lately you're gonna be seeing like some videos with a camera, maybe some reels with a shitty camera, which was my last phone because I started with a phone. This is a really cheap camera too, so yeah. And then maybe some videos with a camera. So just in case, I didn't want it to become like confusing. Like, okay, so you showing your face or are you not showing your face? And what the fuck with your camera quality? And also the spaces where I am, because right now this is the space where I am recovering from my leg. But usually I have some footages from my actual room and some footages from this camera and some footages from the other camera. Listen, I've been busy and it's been difficult, okay? Also, my computer cannot handle Premiere anymore. But, you know, I didn't want it to become that confusing. So if you see like one footage or one video with a camera and then something changes and like that, it's because of that. Eventually, it's gonna be more consistent, especially in the camera quality and all that. But yeah, basically that's all I wanted to say. And honestly, thank you so much to everybody. I know I don't have that many subscribers, but still, the ones that are supporting me, like, you guys have no idea how happy you make me. Just recently, somebody mentioned something like the thumbnails and how I managed a gameplay a long time ago, and I thought that nobody watched it. And suddenly getting that comment of, oh my god, yeah, like that time when you did this, and I was like, oh, they watched my video. Like, those little things have made me so happy, honestly, so happy. And I just cannot thank you enough. And also for the people who comes from Twitch to YouTube to watch this, thank you so much for the support. You guys were super nice with my face reveal. I was feeling so insecure, but also I really wanted to take this step, and I don't know, that welcoming was so incredible, and I cannot thank you enough. So now, welcome to my new chapter on YouTube, the Chilaquil chapter, because I'm gonna have many things mixed at the beginning. But I'm going to start using a camera. So I think that's all I have to say. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next gameplay or video, whatever I do. Have a good one, guys.